It's much better. It's much better with the falcon when there's a wind. Here come the crows. Coming right at you guys.
Coming over the trees.
I'm gonna let it have it this time.
Talk about a flyby.
I just got that.
Yeah.
Can't see anything over.
Look at the speed it's hitting that at. It ripped off the food.
Yeah. Gyrfalcon just flew over your head.
We get our bird back on our fist. We hook it up. I had a Barbary falcon I was showing off to these apprentices. Wind was blowing 20 knots. Bird flew beautifully, came back, hit the lure a couple of times, landed, wind's blowing. I had a broken transmitter antenna, I didn't tell them that. I had the ID tag that you see, the yellow one, in my pocket. And I was so cocksure, I picked up the bird, walked over like Clint Eastwood, and a gust of 20-mile-per-hour wind came along and the bird was taken away. It's a quarter mile away, it's a half a mile away, it's a mile away. And I knew all the deficiencies. My guest did not. And it was all because of the elementary arrogance of not hooking the bird up immediately upon getting it back. That's what created that situation. A search ensued. One apprentice had a $1,000 radio transmitter that he didn't know how to use. The other guy didn't know anything. Christine and I and these two guys searched for the bird. It started snowing on top of the 20-mile-per-hour gust. And by the time I got the bird back, it was on the ground. And my hands were like crab hands. I couldn't move them with the transmitter, the receiver, my old receiver, which is metal, in my hand. So you got to stick with the basics, hook the bird up. This French clip is excellent for this, just so you got a quick way to hook the bird up before you put the actual leash on. So once I get the bird under control, I've got the jesses between my fingers and looped around. I then move to, and I'm pretty confident this bird could do another 2 flights, but why push it? The garden club I went for an extra flight and it didn't work out so well. I had to go, I don't want to have to go to the other side of the hotel next because that would end this on a low note. Just like your training, end it on a high note. Why end it on a pushing it to the point where you don't need to? You know, I think a good flight for your people would be, if they see, like in New York City, they saw one flight where the bird did multiple stoops at the lure, like I pulled it away at the last second, and then it hit it and the applause go off and you're a hero. So why push it to show off even more? Just do what you need to do, plan on doing it once, and bow and stop. That's the best way to do it with an audience. Control it. So then you take your hood, and this is a bag. I usually use a vest, and I don't have my normal stuff with me, but this is a lot easier with this kind of weather. Take your hood, and he's still panting, and he's eaten. Usually not resistive to the hood at all when they've eaten. He's flown, cinch him up, and you're done. What'd you think?
Awesome.
Beside myself.
Isn't it? The speed of a falcon makes a hawk look like a slow-moving whatever. I mean, that bird flew beyond the hotel and then back, and then it's just wonderful to watch them. And then when they miss, you saw how it went over, and they go like that, and then they come back. And so when you get the bird in good health, when you're exercising it daily, you could plan on doing this every day, you know, in the winter, you know, say 3, 4 o'clock, you know, do a 15-minute exercise with the bird, and that bird will get stronger and stronger. You'll get more and more confident with the bird, and you've already got a bird, a falconer trained. You just need to basically get it attached to you and to that lure. And I think you're going to have a wonderful time. And it's for the public. It's like what happened to me when I read My Side of the Mountain, which is the fantasy of taking a wild creature that wants to fly away from you and getting it to come to you at will. And the only thing that gets beyond this is to get it to catch something for you. You know, that's really when you as a falconer, even whether it's a rabbit or squirrel or duck or pheasant, when you have that happen for the first time, each graduation you get a rabbit and then you finally get a pheasant and you just feel like great. And to have a goshawk on your fist, and I've got my dog on point where that grill is, and it's pointing on a pheasant, and I know what's there, and I'm walking up slowly, and the goshawk has a hood on, take the hood off, and I start telling the goshawk, because I've trained it, I go shh, shh, shh. That means there's something you don't see that's there. And that's because I've hidden quail after quail, and then it's gone off my fist and gotten it. And I tell the dog to run in as I get like 15 feet from the quail, or the pheasant, and the dog runs in, and the pheasant explodes off the ground, and the hawk explodes off your fist, and whether it's 75 feet in front of you or 300 yards from you, it catches that pheasant. If it's 300 yards, you've got your iPhone out, try to take a picture, and you stop a few times at my age, and then you find your hawk, and it's on top of the pheasant, and it's eating, you know, it's plucking it, and the wind's blowing the feathers towards you, away from you, and you're the only person that's witnessing this whole thing, and it's just such a rush. You feel like an orchestra leader. And when you do it with a falcon on a duck, it's just amazing, you know, that you've made this whole thing happen. When you see that falcon bank over like that, and then you don't see it anymore, it drops so fast that you can't see it. It hits the horizon, you lose it, and then you see a cloud of feathers. And you know that it's hit. And you hear the thwack sometimes. Or if it's real high, like some of my friends out west who live in Montana or Wyoming, the bird's so high as it's coming in, you hear the bells just whistling as it's coming in like a rocket. And when it hits, it sounds like a crack, like BAP! You know, it hits something. And then you see the pheasant rolling over, tail over head, and just feathers pouring out of the sky. And the falcon does a loop-de-loop, grabs the pheasant, flies it to the ground. I mean, it's just, it's one of the most beautiful ways to hunt. And that's what I tell people that are against hunting. This is what these birds do. And this is the zen of hunting. There's no gun involved, and people will let you on their property because there's no gun involved. You know, total strangers, when they see the bird, will let you hunt on their property because there's no gun involved, and they feel safe. They may think you're a goof or a kook, but if they see what you just saw, they're like, wow, that's really cool. And they invite you back. So thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. I really enjoyed working with all of you, and I'll help you in any way I can. Thank this lady for vetting me. Yes. Thank you so much, and having me here, it really meant a lot to me. Some of you may not know or know about my legal travails. You can go to GoFundMe.com and read all the articles and the interviews and stuff. In spite of that, I was hired, so that may mean something. In spite of that, a federal judge said not guilty. So it really means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.